let us go to the previous lesson and talk about what we discussed last time. Last time, if you remember, we talked about synonyms and antonyms. So we said we use synonyms to talk about words that are similar, and we also said antonyms to talk about words that have different meanings. So we also talked about the different types of synonyms and antonyms. Let us see a few of them. The first one of when we talked about types of synonyms is we said identical. Identical synonym. Identical synonyms are synonyms that have the exact meaning. One means the other. For example, begin, start. These are called identical synonyms because they have the same exact meaning. The second type of synonym that we talked about last time is partial. Partial synonym. Partial synonyms have the same meanings, but they have a little bit of difference. For example, big, large. So they still have the same meanings, but they have a slight difference. Okay, another one. The third type of synonym that we talked about last time is contextual. Contextual synonyms. Contextual synonyms are synonyms based on context. For example, bright, smart. These are synonyms, or they have similar meanings in case of context. When we see it in the same context, both of these words have the same meaning. But if they're not in the same context, they have different meanings. The fourth and the last type of synonym that we saw last time is connotative synonym. Connotative synonyms are synonyms. They have the words of the meaning of the words are similar, but they have cultural connotational difference. For example, slim, skinny. If you see here, they both have the same difference, but their connotational meaning may be different, for example, in case of emotion or in case of culture as well. If we see in cultures, in our cultures, for example, in Ethiopia's cultures, or a lot of African countries' cultures, if you say someone is skinny, that means you're saying it's negative instead of positive. If someone says you are skinny, then that person is saying you need to be more healthy and eat more food. So it differs, these two, the meaning of the words in connotative synonyms differs because of cultural and emotional feelings. These were the types of synonyms that we saw last time. What about antonyms? Type of antonyms that we saw last time. The first one is binary. Binary antonyms. Binary antonyms are the exact opposite of each other. It means the absence of one means the presence of the other. For example, alive, dead. So you can't be both of these at the same time. If someone is alive, they can't be dead, or if they are dead, they can't be alive. So that is what binary antonyms means. It means the absence of another and the presence of the other. Okay, the second type of antonyms that we have is gradable. Gradable antonyms. Gradable antonyms are antonyms that are different because of the degrees of things. For example, hot, cold. If you see the degrees of these things, they are extreme. So if you find both of these things at the different spectrum, you find hot at different spectrum and cold in another. And in the middle, if you see between these two, we have different kinds of, for example, temperatures. We have lukewarm or warm, but it may not be hot or cold. So these two are at a different spectrums. That's why they're called gradable. The third one is reverse antonyms. Reverse antonyms are antonyms or words that have a reverse meaning or reverse idea. For example, let's say increase, decrease. If you see here, something is going up and something is going down. So that means the reverse. And that's how we use reverse antonyms. The fourth one is relational antonyms. Relational antonyms are words that are different, but they have a relation. You see a relationship between those words. For example, parent, child. If you see here, they are both different words or they have different meanings. But they have what? A little bit of relationship, and that's why they're called relational antonyms. The fifth and the last one is reciprocal antonyms. Reciprocal antonyms are antonyms that are reciprocal. For example, buy, sell. If you see here, they are reciprocal. Give or take. That is how reciprocal antonyms work. If you do something, you get something in return. That's why it's called reciprocal. And these are the 5 types of antonyms. So these were the ideas that we talked about in details last time. So today's topic is contextual vocabulary. We have different words that we're going to see today. One of them, the first one, is dusk. So what does it mean, dusk? And it has an opposite word, and we're going to see it later on. But dusk, what does it mean? And what is the meaning? What is the definition of dusk? And in which areas do we use it to talk about what? So dusk means the time after the sun sets. Just after the sun sets. So this is right after the sun setting. You see a different type of color in the sky. It's not dark and it's not light because the sun is going down and it has gone down, but it is just after the sun sets. And you see there is a little bit of light. It's not fully dark. That's what we call dusk. For example, we arrived home at dusk. Number 2, I love the time of dusk. The birds return to their nests at dusk. And finally, the street light turn on at dusk. So if you see here, we have the word dusk, and it's showing a time where the sun has just set, but it is not dark yet. So people like, for example, watching dusk, and they also love watching the opposite of this word. We will talk about it later on. The second word or vocabulary that we're going to see today is lagging. What does it mean, lagging? To lag behind. This word is used for people who are slow, people who, for example, if you're having an eating contest, or even when you are having a group outing with your friends and someone is lagging behind, that is how you explain lagging. Lagging means being slower than others, or staying behind. Staying behind. So that is what lagging is all about. For example, the boy is lagging behind the team. As I said earlier, if you're having an outing or if you're going camping or hiking with someone, and if that person is very slow to follow the group, then we say that person is lagging behind. She noticed that they are lagging behind. Again, the same thing, being slower, or if someone is walking with you and if you look back and see that person is slowly walking and they're not at your pace, then you say that person is lagging behind. My computer is lagging because of too many programs. If you see here, this is an action of not a person but a thing, but it is still going or working very slowly. So we use lagging to describe that. The third word that we're going to see today is leap year. Leap year. So what does it mean, leap year? We know that in a year we have 365 days, but in the case of a leap year, we have what? 366 days. It means having 366 days in a year. And this also means not every year. So this occurrence is, it happens, but it happens every 4 years. So every 4 years, this happens. You see this happen. And we also have always in the calendar, February, the month February has 28 days. But in the case of a leap year that occurs every 4 years, February has what? 29 days. So here, February has 29 days. That is how the calendar works with February. So February, no matter what, is a 28-day month. But at the leap year, it becomes 29. For example, and this is what we call in our calendar. So Ethiopian calendar and the Gregorian calendar is different. So in Ethiopian calendar, we have the month the 13th month that we call Pagme. And that we have 5 days every 3 years. But the every fourth year, we have Pagme 6. So that is what we call the leap year. Okay, example. 2024 was a leap year. If you remember, now we are in 2025, but last year in 2024, it was a leap year. So we had one extra day in the last month of Ethiopia. For example, the 13th month of Ethiopia, Pagme, we had what? One extra day. So it became Pagme 6. And that is what leap year is about. Another example. My birthday is on a leap year. My birthday is on a leap year. So a person who's born on a leap year would only celebrate their birthday every 4 years, because the leap year comes what? Every 4 years. That is what leap year is about. So the other word that we're going to talk about now is extra. So, extra. What does it mean, extra? I'm sure out of all of the vocabularies and the words that we're going to see today, this one is a bit easier for you to understand. You know what extra means. So, extra means having something more or more than what is needed or more than what is expected. Expected. So that is what extra means. So having an extra pair of shoes or an extra pair of clothing. So extra means something that you already have something, but if you have extra than what you have, that is what we call extra. Okay, example. I always carry an extra pen with me. For example, as a teacher, I always carry an extra pen or pencil or even an eraser when I go to class, because sometimes my students may not have pen, a pencil, or an eraser. So these are things that I carry. So extra means even if the students have it, okay, they have it. But I have extra. That means if someone does not have it, I could give it to someone. Another example. He worked extra hours last week. Again, extra, right? This person has a working hours from Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday. This person has a normal working hours. But if this person has more work to do and then he or she is adding extra hours, then we say that it's what? Extra. It is more or more than needed or more than expected. In this case, it is more than expected. Why? Because this person has a normal working hours and they have added more. Okay, the fifth word that we're going to see today is bearing. Bearing means the direction or position of something. For example, the sailor checked his bearing with a compass. And he lost his bearing in the forest. Bearing has also another definition, but in this context, the definition that we're going with bearing is the direction or position of something. So if you see in the first example, the sailor checked his bearing, meaning the direction that he is going with a compass. If you have a compass, sailors, people who are captains, people who go on a ship, they have compasses, or even people who like hiking, they take a compass with them to show them where they are. So the direction of where they are. So in this case, the sailor checked his compass to see where he is, the bearing, his bearing. Okay, again, the second one, he lost his bearing, his direction, his sense of direction in the forest. Sometimes, since forests don't have what? For example, if you are in a city, there are buildings that have names that you know, so it would be easier for you to navigate your direction. But if you are in a forest filled with different trees, but again, trees, so that might be very hard for you to know where you are going. So bearing is what? The direction or position of something. Number 6 is determine. To determine means to decide something after thinking about it, or after getting an information. After getting an information. So you have an information, or you have thought about that, and then you determine what happens. Example. We have to determine a solution for this problem. Your test results will be determined after the exam. If you see here, what? Something will happen, what? After, in this case, after exams. After exams, meaning your examiner or your teacher has enough information to what? To determine your results. Either you get A, B, or C, depending on what you have got, what you have given in this case. We have to determine a solution for this problem. Again, to determine a solution for a problem, you have to know, you have to have prior information about that something, about that situation. Okay. Number 7, the word that we're going to see is dawn. If you remember earlier, we talked about the word dusk. So this is what? Dawn is the opposite of dusk. Dusk, we said, is the time after, right immediately after the sun sets. And in the case of dawn it is in the early morning. In the early morning, when the sun rises. So these two times in a day, they have a beautiful effect on the sky. So some people like watching the dawn, while other people like watching the dusk. So some people like watching when the sun is setting, and some people like watching when the sun is rising. Example. Dawn is my favorite time of day. So, it means it is the time where I like watching the sun rising, or it is the time where the day is so beautiful. It's more beautiful than, for example, let's say midday, or maybe an evening at the middle of the night. So some people prefer this time of day. And some people feel like they are most productive in this time of day. Okay, another example. They went to the hospital at dawn. So a lot of hospitals that we know here, especially government hospitals, if you need to get a ticket, a card, you have to go early for the queue. So a lot of people like going to the hospital early in the morning. Okay, so that is what dawn is about. The last word that we're going to see today is differ. Differ means what? It is the short form of different. So differ means what? Something opposite. Opposite from what you are thinking, what you are imagining, or it could be different people, different imagination or opinions, but it is what? Something opposite. So it is the short form of different. Example. Their opinion differ from each other. She differs in a unique way. My test results differ from each other. If you see here, we have differ in different contexts, but it's still saying the same thing. It's saying what? Different from each other or something opposite. If you say their opinion differ from each other, you're saying what? They have different ideas. Their ideas are not the same. Again, if you say she differs in a unique way, it means her personality is different than most people. And my test results differ from each other means, for example, you may get a high score in math and maybe a low score in English, or a somewhat good score in science. So if that's the case, then they differ. They are what? Something opposite. So these are all the words that we are going to see today. And I'm sure you have enough examples. And now let's go to some exercises. Let's do some exercises. Fill in the blanks using the correct words. I will write the words here in case, okay? Just in case for you. Dusk, differ, wait. Dawn, extra, leap year, lagging, fearing, and determine. Okay. First one. The hikers got lost at blank space because it became dark. My phone is blank because the internet is slow. Number 3, 2028 will be a blank space year. Number 4, I packed an blank space bottle of water for the trip. Number 5, the runner lost his blank space during the race. Number 6, the teacher will blank who passes the course. Number 7, we woke up at blank space to watch the sunrise. And the last one, our opinions on blank each movie to watch. So these are questions for all of the words that we have seen today, and I've written them up there for you. So I want, and we'll get back and do it together. Okay, I'm sure all of you have tried your best and you did it really well. So let's see how well you did it. The first one, the hikers got lost at because it became dark. Earlier, we talked about 2 time of days. One of them is getting darker, while the other is getting, or the day is starting. So the opposite of each other. So the first one, if you remember what we said, the hikers got lost at what? Dusk instead of dawn, because dusk is the time of day when the sun has just set. So it's getting darker, but not fully dark. Okay, number 2, my phone is what? It doesn't mean leap year, or is it bearing, or is it dawn? No. My phone is, we're talking about the working of something here. My phone is what? Lagging because the internet is slow. So the working of something here, and that something is your phone, is being very slow because the internet is also slow. Number 3, 2028 will be a year. A what year? A leap year. So if you remember earlier, we said 2024 was a leap year. And we said leap years happen every 4 years. If that is the case, then 2028 will be a leap year. Number 4, I packed an bottle of water for the trip. What? An extra bottle of water. You already have 1 or 2, let's say, but you have 1 that you need. If you add another more, then it is extra. Okay, number 5. The runner lost his, in this case, losing what? Direction during the race. So, lost his bearing during the race. Number 6. The teacher will determine, in this case, it is what? Determine who passes the course, because after you have completed all of your projects, all of your tests, and all of your class activities, then your teacher would know who to pass and who to fail. Okay, number 7. We woke up at, when you wake up, it is mostly at dawn, in the mornings, early in the mornings, to watch the sunrise. If it is the sunrise, then it's definitely dawn. So the last one, our opinions, what? Differ on each movie. So each idea of these people are what? Different. These are all about the words that we have seen today. I am sure all of you have gotten the different examples and also did the exercise really well. And I hope to see you again next time, and thank you all for joining us. Goodbye.